Welcome to Why Your Business is Invisible Online, the podcast that connects businesses online with the people they want to serve. Joining me are my two co-hosts, and here they are.
I'm Jim Filatico. When I'm not helping my clients grow their businesses online, you can find me traveling with friends and family.
Hi, I'm Kelly Biggs, and I'm the AT alien of the group. I love hanging with friends and family, and when I'm not doing that, you can find me on Peloton. I've clocked over 2,000 rides so far.
And I'm your host, John Manatas from Oakville, Ontario, Canada, with my guitar in hand, my Wi-Fi on life support, but always in tune with my clients. Not only for ourselves, but for our audience to really go through an acronym that can help us understand all the aspects of what it takes to be found on the internet. And acronyms are great. I don't even know how many times I used acronyms, mnemonic devices in school to get through when there was tons of detail and facts. I couldn't have survived without these mnemonic devices in school, and they're still good today. So F.O.U.N.D, found. Let's go through it. Let's come up with what each of those can stand for, and go back to them every time we need to, as we dive into the details of what it takes to be found, what it takes for a business to be found online. F.O.U.N.D. Let's start with F. Fully optimized would be F. O. Original content and context is critical. U. Understanding the audience. N is for nurture, and D is for data-driven strategy. So let's take some time and go through F, fully optimized websites, what they're all about. Like what we've talked about websites, but let's go a little deeper into what it takes in this world of being fully optimized to help businesses be found online.
Jim, I know you have a lot of clients that fall into this, so I'm curious to hear if you wanted to share one first.
Sure. I've got home services, I've got med spas, I've got medical related things, and it's one example. Nice looking website. It's pretty. It's got some nice information in it. But when you do the technical deep dive, it has no backbone. It doesn't have that framework that Google uses to search. And I think that's one thing that a lot of our business owners don't understand. And this person I spoke with doesn't really completely understand it, because they built their own website. They go on to a free version of something, and it walks them through, picking the font and adding your content and adding some pictures and all those things. But if Google can't find you, you did it all for nothing. And it's sad to say, and it's hard to say that to somebody, because especially if they built it themselves, they put their blood, sweat, and tears in this, and it's frustrating. But that being said, when you don't have the elements that are required for Google, the Google bots or the robots, as we say, to be able to find it, you won't be found.
Yeah,
and
that works, by the way, Jim. What you just said works. As soon as I tell them it's a robot that goes into the guts of the underlying website, not the pretty things that you just talked about.
It can't even see the pictures. It can't even see.
Right, exactly. Well, it does. It sees JPEG 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
What the hell it is, we don't know. But
they don't know, which is why you need to name your JPEGs as what they are.
You got to name your picture.
Name the picture.
As soon as I tell them that it's a robot, then they get it. They say, I understand now. So it's nothing they can see, nothing that my clients can see with their eyes. I said, you got it. Now you understand. And that's what we have to do for you. Sorry, Jim, I interrupted. Go for it.
No, that's right. And when you say it's not like someone is just ahead of you typing and searching and looking at websites. It's all automated, and that's what it does. So it's these robots that go and they look for those exact words that match, whether it's a whole page of a website. So if you call it a home page, that's great. But if you call your services pages services, what kind of services?
Right.
And when you have multiple pages and you call them all services, then now you've got multiple pages calling the same thing. It confuses the hell out of Google.
Oh, yes.
And so making sure that those things are correct, making sure that the content within the website, that has titles that are appropriate to what you're talking about, that, like we just talked about, the images that you name the images and you put the alt tags in the images that explains what the image is all about, because Google will actually look for that.
Yep.
And they'll actually serve up a picture.
Yeah.
As a part of the search, or a video as a part of the search. And not recently, but in the recent past, it'll actually serve up the portion of the video you're actually looking for.
Right.
So like
yeah.
So that's what's important, is making sure it's optimized for whatever search engine that you're using, whether it's Google or AI or whatever it is, making sure that having that information, all that framework in there is critical for the search engine to be found. So then now you have to go back and you basically have to tune up the website. You have to make sure that all that information is in there. So that's traditionally a part of search engine optimization, is that first month of work is tuning up the website to make sure that when now you do start updating, in this case, it's healing and different things with sound and with exercise and different things, yoga and different things for this particular woman, those will actually show up because the backbone of the website is they're explaining the content that she's provided,
right,
and pointing it to it so it can be found.
Your clients, go ahead, Cal.
Now, I was going to ask a little bit more about this particular client. I'm curious, how long had she been in business? How long ago had she put up her website? I'm just curious about this.
I think the website's 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
And she's going from kind of a local presence to more. She wants to be more regional. Many times, what she used to do is more face to face.
Yep.
And now she does more of a Zoom or a phone call.
Okay.
And so that way she can expand her territory, so to speak, and get more business. But she's not being found because information is not there.
Have you
found,
I'm just curious, because she wants to be found in a more regional way, does that causing you to go in and create like location pages, like for some of the
service area pages and location pages? So what she's doing now is she's realizing that she's not getting those phone calls from far away, right, or farther away.
Right.
And so and she hasn't done anything for SEO yet.
Okay.
And actually, I'm working with a med spa that she actually gave her my name, which was kind of cool,
nice.
Right? I got a referral, yeah. So that's going to be something that we're going to talk about. We have a meeting actually later on today to talk about what we need to do to expand, to kind of set up the framework and fix, give her website a tune-up. And then we're going to talk about what we have to do kind of on page, the information that we provide that lets Google know what she does and where she does it, basically. I mean, it's that simple.
And where she does it. So, So then that reminds, the question is really about full optimization, right? That's the F is found. And so when you're thinking about fully optimized, I do think a lot of times people go straight to search engine optimization, but that's not the only thing that we're talking about. When I have had almost every person, and we'll get to this a little bit later on, will tell you that, I can write my own blogs, and when we talk about content, we'll talk about it, but it's important to bring in here. Yeah, I agree. You can write your own blogs, but guess what? Your blogs have to be optimized.
Yeah,
your blogs have to be optimized. You have to have titles. You have to have meta tags. You have to have only one heading, H1. Like these are things that you shouldn't be concerned about, but somebody sure better be when you write your content, right? And so Google, think about it. The back in the day when they called it the World Wide Web, because spiders were crawling it. Now we call them bots, right? Were crawling your website, and they needed to have a certain amount of structure, which has still remained to this day. And so they're looking to see if your content even the content is written in a certain type of structure. So I had a client who she loved writing. I'll write my own stuff. I'm good. I'll write it. And she's super talented. And yes, she could, but her blogs were like 100, 200 words. Google feels like then you're not the expert on that, right? Unless it's a part of a hub and spoke, but we won't get into that. That's another topic for another day.
For another day, yeah.
For another day. But Google is looking for content, and generally speaking, to even know how much you should be doing a search on, okay, well, what other blogs out there around this topic? Because I doubt, unless you're some research scientist, that this was not the case with her. She wasn't a research scientist, but she had an interesting point of view on certain topics. But then in order to show up in Google, so we started working with her. And what I ended up doing was something kind of cool. It's like I would go out and research what questions are people asking for her business, right? So I would go do the Google search. Like I know what she does. I just type it in, and then I would come back and we'd have a Zoom call. Right. And we say, okay, and I just turn on my recorder so then I don't have to remember every single thing that she said.
The
right?
notes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I take the full transcripts, and then that becomes the content. Right. And so then I take that content, answering questions or however we do, that's foundational. It's unique to her because it was 100% her voice. And then we turned that into a fully optimize. And let me tell you, it was so amazing because what happened was from that, like we happened to be in the same BNI. And one day she was like, Google this topic. I'm number one. Like,
organic,
all happy, right? Right. And so when you start to do that, it's not just about doing it for the algorithm in anywhere you're doing it. It's not just about, I didn't say it's not about.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you want to be found,
yeah. Yes, you want to be read.
Right, exactly. Right. But it's also, but you're doing that because you want people to see, to your point, Jim, the audience that she wanted to see, she wanted to do that. And I think that's the same for other platforms, that it's important to talk about being optimized. How are you optimized for LinkedIn?
Well,
Number one, right? Because LinkedIn, you can't have the same number of hashtags that you can in Instagram or Facebook, and it's a different strategy. In Instagram, are your videos, you're posting videos, but are they optimized to get the right number of eyes on them? And so when I say optimize, one, we talked about the importance of finding your persona, but then, and this is why that then becomes important, because depending on who your persona is, you write the content for the place that they visit the most on social media. And then you use the same content and you post it to the rest of them, but you don't optimize. You cannot, most businesses, I'm not saying all, most businesses don't have a budget to optimize them to every social media platform. But you do want to pick and make sure that where your audience is, you're optimizing to that. Exactly.
But so that's part of the process now. It's like, because we're Google's still number one, but as we've discussed in the past, social media searches are critical. And so you're going to post to as many of the social platforms where your audience is going. But now, which we've discovered recently, you also now have to do a search on AI platforms to find out, do you come up? Like, do they even know who you are?
Right.
And it's not just, okay, it's probably Chat GPT for sure, but it's not just Chat GPT anymore. Now you have Perplexity. Do you come up in Perplexity? Are you coming up in the leading AI chat or search engines? And that's going to be an ongoing challenge both. So both. It's not just Google anymore. I guess that's what I'm saying. It's Google, it's social, it's chat, and you want to be found in as many places as possible where to your point, Kelly, where that your target persona is going to those places.
And even SGE now, because of
SGE, good point.
And they came out with it and then they slowed it down. And SGE is search generative experience. So Google has that where their AI is producing the answers up above ads and up above the organic search for the queries you have, the questions you have. So they're going back and forth with it, but nonetheless, that's a different experience that we're used to too.
Yeah.
And so you have to try to optimize for that.
Isn't it called like a zero click or something like this, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. SGE was, I can't remember what it was called before SGE, but it was SGE. Now it's SGE.
So the job of being found now has gotten a lot tougher and a lot more complex, which is fine. Keeps us on our toes. I know I've had issues with having discussions with clients regarding speed and how fast your website comes up.
That's exactly right.
And I'm sure you guys have too. Like I've had clients where we've actually fixed it. So in other words, we got their speed up to being like 90%. Which is, 80, 90%, both on mobile and on their desktop. So their website's lightning fast. It comes up right away, which is a big deal. Google calls it their core web vitals, but it's a big deal for Google that you're quick. But over time, because you're constantly adding things to that website, you could be adding a lot of video. That can slow it down again. So you have to go back in again. And then I have to go back to my clients and say, well, it's going to take a few more hours. It's going to cost more money to get you back up to where you need to be because we're not 90% anymore. We're down to like 50% or 60%. So it's a ongoing conversation. So that's another thing we got to keep our eye on. Otherwise Google isn't going to favor us. And that wraps up another episode. My name is John.
This is Jim.
And I'm Kelly. Thanks for joining. Hey, don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you for tuning in to Why Your Business is Invisible Online. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do us a favor and subscribe and follow us on Spotify and Apple. Be sure to share it with other business owners who might find it helpful. If you want to dig deeper, contact us at ruinvisibleonline.com. That's capital letter R, capital letter U, followed by invisibleonline.com. Or message us on our LinkedIn business profile with the same title, Are You Invisible Online? The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and may or may not reflect the official policy or position of WSI Corporate. Always consult a qualified digital marketing expert before making significant changes to your online strategy. Until next time, keep connecting with the people who matter most to your business and join us for our next episode.